But again, setting that precedent here with a win against OMG could set yourselves up for success, right? In making it across the finish line and hitting that playoff mark.
It's all about having some gumption in this gauntlet of a split. I know we talk about it all the time in the LPL, but it is an absolute fact. These players are being put through an absolute test in this summer split. Grueling schedules. We'll see how or who comes out on top. Now, we're already in the thick of things for game number 3. Our culmination, it is the Vi first pick for WE.
Yeah, I think this makes the most sense. I think if you're going to stay on the same side, you have to shake the tree and you have to change up how things actually go here, as OMG go for a really interesting rotation of Rakan plus the LeBlanc. So LeBlanc, I'm just assuming, strength of pick, right? Very, very powerful. They don't want to give it over to Shanks again. But also the Rakan, maybe it's just a takeaway from Iwandi, right? Scared of the Vi plus the Rakan combo because it's so much additional layered engage that they're just not willing to deal with that at all. Now, my only thing with this is, if you're WE here, you could go potentially Zeri and the Lulu. You could go Nautilus if you want more engaged to stack on top of it, and you should always have a very good lane matchup. OMG have also put themselves in a position, Mazel, where they now have to pick between their jungler and their AD carry. So I'm not sure how much I like this opening from OMG, and I feel like for WE, this is potentially a very nice position because they can also just do this, go towards the Cassante, and that's going to flex towards the top lane and the mid lane.
I would love to see the Lovers duo locked in here because it just gives you that safety. You can start thinking and planning for phase 2 and get that safety on bottom lane just in case and have a little bit of that peel back potential. We have seen Abel, though, highlight the Tristana consistently here in our new age meta, and it will be another pickup of that for OMG.
Yeah, it will be for Abel. Now I expect WE to just really pinch Aki's champion pool here. Probably like something like Poppy, I think, would be a very, very good ban. Plus X, whatever they feel like could go well with OMG's composition. Maybe a Wukong ban as well. I think actually that's the strongest 2 bans they could open up with here. Wukong plus Poppy, and I think they're pretty comfortable with whatever Aki lands on beyond those 2 picks. For OMG, banning away the Janna makes sense. Iwandi showing it, maybe feeling like it could cause issues into whatever composition they end up rounding out with. And then perhaps something like that Nautilus, or even the Braum. I think even though there's a lot of mobility and flexibility, something like the Braum can still shut down a lot of engage options, and WE right now, you know, do have some to bear as they will go towards that Lulu in the end, just trying to remove away those enchantment options for WE.
I'm just so interested. I mean, I guess since the Blitzcrank's not in, maybe they fear the Janna a little bit more, since they can't just pick it out and kill it instantaneously. Still do feel like, though, that's an interesting ban. It takes away maybe something else that could have been the focus. The Wukong is banned away towards OMG, as we know that jungle pool needs to be focused down towards Aki.
Yeah, I think those bans are quite telegraphed. I think at this point now, Aki, maybe something like the Viego could lean on that. There's not too many other options. If he's really feeling spicy, you could go like Lee Sin, but I think the champion's pretty bad, and it's not really going to offer you too much. Maybe something like Xin Zhao. There's a couple of options still on the table for him for sure. Could also still lean on the Maokai if he really wants to as well. It's still up and available. And something that has slipped through the bans is the Annie, which WE are going to very quickly and happily snap in. So they've got strength across the board. They've actually borderline got draft Exodia, to be honest with you. All of those champs are nearly best in slot. And WE just have to round that with whatever support they feel like they are happy with into the Rakan. And it will just be the Nautilus because the enchantments are removed away from OMG.
And it's also just a really impressive pick into Tristana. The Dredgeline can still connect during the rocket jump. You've got that insane follow-up to all the CC you already have for WE. But it looks like we get that lock-in of the Aki Sejuani. And it'll be that LeBlanc mid, the Renekton top for OMG. So definitely looking to combine these forces in the top side of the map early on.
Yeah, I mean, for OMG, I think you just have to send it through Shanji's lane. Otherwise, this game gets really awkward in the mid-game quite quickly. And even though, you know, the spikes of the Shiv and, you know, moving towards that second item, very powerful for LeBlanc. Abel hitting Kraken Slayer first on the Tristana does definitely buff up a lot of damage potential. I feel like WE are always going to be super comfortable as long as they're within 1,000, 2,000 gold of OMG. And they know that they have the Zeri scaling and all of these obnoxious champions. Pretty much best in slot across the board. Is what I would like to call a near draft Exodia. I think OMG have definitely got their work cut out for them.
We've gotten our third game. The coaches' handshakes are on point. Everybody's raring to go here. Everything's looking really good. A lot of communication between the teams because this game is, while in a regular season, an important one nonetheless. And we've made it to the culmination. OMG pushing WE against the ropes, but WE adapting, WE changing their style, even if it's not a change-up of sides.
Yeah, exactly. Big change up in style, despite the lack of side select change, which I was surprised about, but they went towards the adaptation, right? They first picked the Vi, and OMG just didn't pick up the Zeri. They just let it go through as well. So OMG willingly go towards the LeBlanc and that Tristana, and we'll see how heavy the dividends pay off as we make it in to the Rift for the final game of the day here.
Our fireworks are set up and ready to go at the Jaio's ring in WE's home arena for a final time of the night. It's WE versus OMG. Give a little dance party in the top for the celebration of the Dragon Boat Festival. But it is OMG with a very interesting track record in this split so far. A roller coaster, as a lot of other teams have been, but it's been off a lot of nice little meta decision making from them. They've played with the meta a lot. They've been able to figure out a lot of interesting tactics for themselves. And maybe one of those now is Static Shiv for Creed.
Static Shiv. It's just so broken. So unbalanced. I was quite surprised that
It lost.
Well, for one, it lost, but two, once I actually saw this build in action, because I'd heard, you know, rumors, whispers across the verse that it was powerful, but I hadn't seen it in pro play. But once I saw that thing in action, man, how is that like? It's so strong that I would almost say it's like close to hotfix territory. You know, like it's pretty obnoxious. Either way, we'll see how Cream manages to navigate this early lane, and of course, that very, very powerful build in this final game has to pull out a bit of a big one. Has been close to quiet throughout this series, in my opinion. He has the opportunity to flex his muscles a bit with this LeBlanc pick.
I know we were talking about WE's schedule. They've gone undefeated, all that good stuff, and the kind of roller coaster that OMG have gone on. But I want to go down that roller coaster a little bit. They kicked off the split against BLG, then Weibo, then JDG, then RNG, and NIP last time around, last week, as well as IG. That's a heckin' schedule to start your season off with, and they took Weibo to 2-1. They won that game, and it's where OMG have shown their biggest strength is early proactivity, and we're leaning on that yet again. Aki did move in, was unable to get that for himself, but at least shows a little bit of pressure towards Hung.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate from the perspective of Aki that Hung was dragging the red buff the way he was. Otherwise, he could have definitely gotten a sneaky smite off. Either way, still going to find these Raptors, still going to get him over to almost level 3. Because he took Raptors red, gets to Raptors, so it's not quite enough for level 3. Just has to leash a bit of XP from the mid lane, gets it instead. But like you said, it's always it's a double-edged sword with those tough schedules, right? For OMG, playing so many strong teams and walking out of it 4-2 feels not bad, right? Like, sure, it's not necessarily, you know, you don't necessarily want to start the split like this, but at the end of the day, I think walking out with 2 wins that you're probably pretty comfortable with, and obviously losing to JDG and BLG is no, you know, it's not something to necessarily be upset about. You can look towards the rest of the season and still very comfortably say, hey, you know, as long as we can finish towards 5th, towards 4th, you're feeling pretty happy.
And this would be a 4th win in a row for them as well. So while the early things were rocky, they're starting to try to put it together, and that comes to a lot of the meta decision making we were highlighting. Aki trying to make his face shown yet again. It's not against Hung this time, it's against Shanks. We do have that opposite side clearing kind of coming to fruition here now that we've had that reset side from Hung.
Yeah, exactly. Hung, obviously, that full clear had a bit of a awkward path after the red just because of how Aki decided to invade. That's one thing I will definitely credit Aki for. He has certainly been trying to put Hung under pressure. It's not always been the correct decision, as we saw from game number 1. But I can appreciate
They've traded
the
chicky nuggies.
Yeah, you know, this game they just traded chicken nuggets, and I think that can be okay. And Hung's technically getting the second rotation, so that feels a little bit better. But jungle XP is kind of whatever. As Hope.
Oh,
right?
Flash Hope! That's a
Ooh.
cleanse at the last second. That is life-saving from WE.
Yeah, I'm really curious about how Abel flashed over that wall there, because it seemed as though, if I recall the play right, because of where he was, if he flashed right on top of Hope, I think he would have been able to have gotten that next auto attack off and killed him, but he flashed a little bit more down to get one last auto attack to actually pop the bomb instead. So, interesting decision. Maybe just overestimated how much all-in damage he had, but it forces Hope out of the lane, and he's got no summoner spells now, so potentially could get picked on by Aki once that level 6 mark comes in.
Got that plate down there, though. Got that plate for Abel, so a nice little advantage in that direction, as well as a little bit of a CS advantage. See what they can play that around, as they know that Abel and PP God are going to need to back after they stayed so long. Hung starts the dragon, but Aki's right here around the corner. Not a lot of health, though.
Has smite. And will poke
Sneaky.
his head in. Cream is kind of giving the jig away by hovering into Fog on the bottom side, unfortunately. So Aki has to just give it up, and WE will secure this dragon for free.
So see a nice priority given from the bot lane. Good heads-up decision-making from WE. And they'll go right back to laning phases, right back to normal. Shanks and Cube, the solo laners of WE who came up so clutch in game number 1, were such big menaces. They need to do so again, as Tipper's used in mid lane onto Cream. Cream's going to go right back for this chain connect. Shanks flashes. He got that summoner spell burned from Shanks. That is revisitable.
Definitely is. And you'd want to see it, right? I think for OMG, they've got all of these aggressive tools. You want to see the likes of PP God going in, maybe stacking on top of Aki and just confirming the play towards Shanks now that he has no flash. We'll see how exactly OMG want to play this. I think after losing the dragon, we'll feel pretty, you know, maybe frustrated perhaps with their inability to be able to contest it at the timer. I think playing towards the top side, when you've got a Renekton as well, should be pretty plausible. So I expect around the Herald, we'll start to see OMG get the stuff together, try and get in sync, and look for a play.
Yeah, you were saying just play through Shanji's lane if you can. Aki hovering this side, but at least a plate going to Shanji's way. Able to steal away the blue buff as well from Hung as he comes up towards this top side and spot him out. So Aki ahead of the play a little bit, while not in ahead of a CS department. Hung will be spotted out in his decision making.
He will for now. See how much it matters. Just going over towards more jungle camps. Must be very close to level 6 by now. 7.5 minutes in. Surely we'll crest it. If not after Gromp, then certainly after Wolves. And then we will start to see some plays come through. I think for WE, the point and click ability of, you know, just having Vi and Nautilus means they'll always be able to start a fight. It just depends on how the setup actually goes. And OMG, kind of a similar deal, just a little less point and click, right? A little more skill shot orientated between that Sejuani and, of course, for PP God having to find a strong angle in to lock up as many people as possible.
We'll have Rift Herald up starting now. See if... Oh, instant start by Aki. As it's actually Hung hovering over the bottom side of the map. So objectives traded early on. And while we have a ton of time for our compositions, I do want to check back in because we did welcome you back to the LPL. How you feeling? How, the ADC check-in, you doing okay? Still knowing that it's the same things going on?
I love the ADC, man. Shanji should be fine here. No, there's no ghost available to Cube, so he can't find a rundown. Yeah, you know, I've really enjoyed the AD carry, man. Just not being got, like, I literally left for 3 weeks, guys. 3 weeks, and we're still, you know, still dealing with Zeri, still dealing with Aphelios and Lulu. Next patch, a lot of it is significantly weaker, so, you know, I can live happier with that. Cube, no ultimate, has flash.
Nice little flash, actually. Shanji gonna tank it up. One more shot. It's not enough. Calculated and cool. Come up by OMG big for first blood.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to feel a bit bad for Cube because he played that probably as well as he could have, but Shanji just walks out on 1 HP. So unfortunately for him, it's plates, it's first blood, and Shanji's going to be making his way to that first item even sooner than perhaps Cube would like, as dive comes in. Good flash away and then push back on the W on the second E. Just kind of keeps Shanji in place, make sure that, you know, realistically, if Shanji had flash, he would have to flash out from underneath the tower and just kind of hope. But unfortunately, he has enough health regen in this particular instance.
Also has first mythic item on the table. Gore Drinker completed for Shanji. It's pretty big. We also have Rift Herald in the pocket of Aki, trying to get active on the map. Hope they need to get out of this one, going right to PP God. As Awandu was actually right around the corner there, and we should get back to the stalemate that was. But about a minute till Dragon. Maybe something WE can play to, but maybe more so something OMG can play towards.
Yeah, I feel like OMG definitely want to a little bit more. Right, I think even though WE have definitely the ability and they've got that first dragon, I think if you're OMG, you probably want to stop this dragon stack from happening at all, just to ensure that you've got a little bit of time to play around with, you know, potential side lane from both Cream and Shanji. So we'll see exactly how lane priorities lie. I think what would help a significant amount is if Cream can get a reset off and actually secure that static shiv. Yeah, there you go, because then he can get mid lane priority a little more consistently, and that could actually help moving in towards that river. To try and get a good look here at this dragon. And the other pretty obvious thing is a pretty sizable gold lead as well from OMG side. With those items coming in, they should definitely look to push and bully WE out of this objective.
I mean, it's like a 20 CS lead for Shanji. Now we get the engage in a 3v3 bot side. The depth charge has already been used. Aki flashing, but the cease and desist coming down. Hope trying to gun him down. Can he get the damage here? I don't know if he has it. Aki! Oh, man. It's a trade of jungler for jungler. That should be it down here.
Yeah, jungler for jungler, which means, guess what? Dragon staying on the map for a little bit longer. Nothing's going to go awry for now, but the AD carries picking up some kill credits there. Feels good for both. Accelerating their games a little bit, but like I mentioned last game, look, Zeri gets a kill. It's not worth 300 gold. It's actually worth 600 gold, you know? It's just the law of the land. There's you know, the initial engage kind of comes onto Iwandi with the ultimate. It feels a little bit awkward. Abel's forced back, so he's not able to get DPS out. And then the extended engage comes in here from Hung, and the disengage is really good. Honestly, there's a world where Aki could have walked out of that one alive as well. So I've got to say, WE definitely overreaching in my mind a little bit, but still ends up being a 1-for-1.
Capitalization from both sides, and WE actually getting a kill on the table. Still about a 2,000 gold lead for OMG as PP God. Looking to pressure while Aki has this Rift Herald available to pop bot lane for Abel. That's some much needed gold in 2 plates.
Yeah, more gold going into the Tristana's back pocket. Not bad. And remember, because Kraken Slayer is a little bit cheaper, and the fact that Hope has also gone towards those B-Greaves first, it will be a little while until Hope actually hits Triforce, and then subsequently more items, right? Abel, there's a world where he could hit a second item very, very quickly in comparison to Hope, just because of the item cost differences and such. So could see a bit of a discrepancy start to build between the 2 AD carries, not only with that gold injection, but also just because of the way that they're itemizing just in small, minute details like the roots.
I would say Aki got that second plate holistically, so it feels a little bit bad. But you get the dragon, you get something back, you get a little bit of something. Pressure on bot side feels really good, and I think that's a nice step in the right direction for OMG, because again, what we were saying is a lot of times they look for pressure early and try to outplay you, and right now they're right as rain in that avenue.
Indeed. Another plate comes in on the top side though for WE instead. I actually really like this itemization of Thornmail for Cube. It's something you occasionally see from Cassantes when they're against like auto attack heavy champion, just because Thornmail on completion, I can't remember where it roughly sits, but it's something like 60-ish damage per auto attack return. So you can deal a surprising amount of Thorns damage as a first item rush if you're against an auto attacker. So if you play Cassante, or hell, even Ornn, it's pretty good on Ornn too. Do consider it on occasion. Cow. Definitely a matchup specific thing, but I agree, holy cow, but that's a crocodile.
That is
a very dead one, potentially.
Does have the dominance, can't even pop it, going down.
Man, maybe I should have left Texas with some crocodile boots. That would have been good.
Oh, Abel.
He's
right. Get out there in the rocket jumper. My goodness. A nice bit of response across the board from WE, even if the gold differential did not get any better.
Yeah, exactly. Let's feel, nice overall to find the play, and not only that, Hope will probably find, or almost find, that tower up on the top side. It's extremely low. Should be able to get it on this next wave, as they'll also get the Herald, so generally, map play feels good for WE. The gold lead will slowly close once they also get that next Herald in potentially. The OMG, how over are they with this play? Because Aki's coming over, Abel's coming over. It feels like a bit of a half-hearted contest. But as the collapse starts to come in and the zoom out comes in, you start to see more. It's dangerous!
Oh, Aki steals it away, and Hung just has to watch as he is surrounded by the piranhas of OMG. As Kareem is now trying to chase down Shanks, and Wandy is on the wrong side of town here. You did get that first tower, which gives a lot of this pressure to OMG because they could just bring everyone this way. Abel with this Rift Herald spawn, number 2, stole it away from Hung. They should be able to press a tier 2 tower.
Yeah, definitely can. Next charge will come in. That's 2 towers. Very easily for OMG here. Real nice turnaround. And I mean, this is WE. They were the ones that were going for that play. They were the ones that are going to lose out. Get the second charge. It won't be a tower. Still feels good. And WE, it was about a 2k gold lead when that play started. It's now a 5, unfortunately, as Smite comes in. Aki wins out. And Hung is bursted in the pit. Not much he can do about that one. Goes over to PP God, but honestly, who really cares? Now OMG just open up the map even more, and things become more perilous for WE as now they've got to deal with Cream on the side lane. Stack Shiv, AP starting to come through, and you know, Cube will very slowly but surely be whittled down here. It will take some time for him to defend the waves, and he'll have to exchange a lot of HP, and Cream will eventually get to that tower and start chipping away.
And you just have so much natural advantage given over to OMG. We have CS leads for Shanji, for Abel. We've had turret plates just going all the way into OMG's pockets. And there is not much for WE to stand on defensively out on the map now. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to pilot a lot of these side lane situations when you have a comp like you do. You're trying to roam around, you're trying to get picks, make sure you can get Hope into a good position.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you have to start playing team composition out now. Even though you'd probably ideally like to play it out more in a front to back-esque fashion where maybe you have 1 or 2 flankers, right? Whether it's Cube or Shanks looking for a good angle, you have to just start looking for picks now because the map is so open that realistically, if you try and find a front to back, chances are you just get collapsed on it in a far more dangerous and lethal manner by OMG. So look for them where you can, but I feel like the options will be limited, and OMG likely to play this one by the books.
Shanji just picked up his second item, a black cleaver completed for the Renekton. Even scarier stuff coming to bear here for WE as dragon spawning and an importance for them to maybe get some vision around, but not necessarily to have to fight. I mean, you are leaking gold right now, but it's something where we've always talked about in every single game. Hope is still on the Zeri, and there is some potential for some Zeri outplays.
Outplay is a strong word, my good friend. We'll
you got
see,
something to say, ADC CEO of Hate?
Yeah, CEO of ADC
CEO
Hate.
of ADC Hate. Sorry, yeah. I got your title. I'm so sorry, sir. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. We still might hire you. We do have positions.
See, but I'm an ADC. COO. So what do we do? Am I a spy?
You can be a marketing lead if you'd like. But I have to see some example work.
Ah, you know? Gotcha.
Yeah. So Medic's the COO, and then Forrest is the Chief Financial Officer. I think you can figure that one out for yourself.
Okay. Got the whole crew going, man.
Yeah, I got a crew going, man. But away from that, speaking of finances, OMG find themselves still 5k up, and this dragon is available on the map, and I suspect that they will continue to just slowly push the vision line up and ensure that WE don't really have a way to contest it. And they don't even have pressure on the top side. They can't really easily kill the LeBlanc either, because a double distort should make it a pretty difficult deal. So, yeah.
It's almost impossible. We've seen teams rampant around the map, but this is a combo that I was talking about in draft. If you can lock it down, that's all that really matters.
Oh.
Huh?
No,
okay,
man.
That happened, I guess. I'm still so confused. But Cream slippery. There you go. That's the takeaway.
Yeah. Duh. Like, hello, Cream.
Duh.
Cream.
They're so salty. Oh my god. The first time it wouldn't work. I know we're memeing a little bit, but like if I don't know why Hung turned around, but like Cream was right next to him right there. And it's like they killed him there. This champion dies and it's not slippery. But then Cream gets the decision-making power after you back away like that, and it just does not go your way.
I don't think I've actually seen tilt happen in live,
Live
images.
action tilt.
Yeah, it's just like play by play of a tilt moment happening. But
I see their
Clearly
brow
see.
getting a little bit more furrowed as the moments
Yeah.
go by.
you can certainly tell though that was a moment of frustration from W, a little bit more of an emotional play. But I mean, what more can you really do, right? You have to try and find something in a moment like that. You do well. It's one of those things. You always, if you lose something on the map, you always want to try and like trade it back. It's kind of like bread and butter of competitive League of Legends, right? League, when you play professional League, it's, as I say this as if I'm not. Anyway, point is, it's kind of like chess, right? If you're exchanging one thing, you want to take something in return, right? If you're losing something, you always want to try and find something just to kind of sweeten the deal a touch. But yeah, in this case, WE, I think taking that mantra a little bit too far. They were dragging a piece at the end. They were very far in to this game too. So, all right, here we go. Round 2.
They
More
have
successful.
it. No! Oh man, what you really needed was Iwandi there. If it, the triple guy every time two connect, one doesn't. There you go. God, it's so frustrating, man. I feel for you, WE. This champion is so slippery, and it works out so well when Cream is piloting it as well. Not even having a kill to his name, but being a nuisance all the less. And we see that push from mid lane actually doing some work here, while OMG reset back onto the map.
Yeah, let this be an ever constant reminder that scoreline does not often, or doesn't always matter. Often it does. Sometimes it can. You know, Cream has arguably been the most impactful player for OMG this game, simply because of how much pressure he's drawing. It's not even necessarily getting OMG anything, but I think the fact that we have just witnessed WE make a couple of questionable plays. Oh! Okay, no, and he's
they just don't want to leave this stuff. They're like, the Cream is here, we want him. If we will find him, we will take him out. Hung is on a ward right there, so it feels a little bit bad, man. Shanji just tearing away at the bottom side. Still about 40-50 CS up.
I have a question, and this one is posed to you, but also to chat, and I'm going to open chat again in a second. Do we think that Cream is going to die this game? No, I do it all the time. It's a bad habit of mine. Do we think that Cream is going to die this game as well? Do you think he's going to die?
Yes.
Yes? How many times? Once? Twice?
Once.
Maybe 3
Probably
times?
once.
Once.
There's going to be once. You're going to go for that extra, like, the static shiv, the energized proc is at like 95. Like, oh, I'm going to get the auto attack. Oh my god, it's got. Oh, I'm dead. So I think that's going to happen. But, that also couldn't happen. We've also had 5 kills in 23 minutes, which, is not a commonality in the LPL.
True. Now, like I said, I've just opened the chat because we have an exceptionally slow game. And Nymera has asked me, can I convince you to join the lactose tolerance club? What does that mean?
Okay.
Oh, it's a Cream joke. It's a because Cream lactose.
It took you a minute. You got there.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. Congratulations.
I flew 9,000 miles yesterday to be here for you guys again because I love you.
You gonna start singing too? I would fly 9,000
miles. I would fly 9,000. Yeah. And I might be a little bit jet lagged.
We didn't make a cover of that for the LPL. We did travel to the LPL. That'd be great. Great.
Oh, hello.
Maybe a little collaboration, some action going down. Double TPs. We've been waiting for action for so long. Now we're getting all of it. Big outplay there, though. Abel goes down, but it's traded for one. You got multi-pronged fights going on as Shanji is tanking up everybody. He can't get a heal, though. That is so unfortunate as WE get a little bit of fighting spirit in him here.
Yeah, okay. WE, it's not all doom and gloom right now. And again, if they can actually get on top of the targets, they've got enough CC to kill people. Cream.
Get Cream. Hug wants him. He can't see him, though. He wants to take him out. He is the bane of his existence.
It's like he's got spidey sense, He feels like Cream's on the other side. He just starts charging the Q. He just knows he's there. And OMG, Have to back away a little bit. Shanji doesn't have teleport, so this could be a little bit awkward in terms of actually contesting this dragon, but at the same time, WE are a little bit separated. Cream, he's good.
Hope was actually walking away initially, but ends up coming back this way. Cream's going back in for a little bit of poke. Aki pushed out, and Dragon given over to WE.
Okay. Now, whilst this is a good thing for WE, do you know what this is not a good thing for? Potentially my sanity, because now this game is going to go on longer. And
True.
I feel like these guys are just going to continually poke and No, there's a Baron. Never mind. We're good. We're good. We're good. Let's see how things play out. WE have to definitely check this. And they know it's going on now.
They actually just want to turn the fight here, but about 5,000 health goes down the Baron. Got Shanji and Cream hovering over the back. Aki throws up the thumbs up. Hung looking for it, though. Gets the knockback. And the Hope lightning crash comes through. The backside, though, you got to watch out as they just turn right back out of Shanji. He heals so much, though. And Hung is already down. Shanji's still alive. The Croc is a menace, but so is OMG. Just like that, the Thanos step has happened, but it's not the Zeri this time, Jamada. It's OMG.
My God, OMG. That looked like it should have been so one-sided for WE, but the fact they couldn't kill the crocodile, maybe he's the Thanos, you're right. Being able to stand fast, and at that point, WE just fall flat on their face. Hope tries his best on the back end, but he just doesn't quite have the fully completed Zeri moment build. Lawnmower not completed. This initial part looks so good, there's so much chunk out, but on the backside of it all, it's all about Shanji getting out so much AoE, surviving for so long. The focus is on him. It's not on the likes of PP God going in as he CCs up multiple targets into the stopwatch. OMG.
There's a reason why this pick's made it through no games pretty much at this point. Like, Renekton, if let loose, if put into a good situation, he's a monster. And the fact that Shanji survives just sets up the rest of the comp so well.
Yeah, it's really, really absurd. And I mean, it's not like OMG necessarily have the best front-to-back comp in the world, but if they're pushed to a position like that again, where Shanji is just able to kind of be that brick wall, soak up a lot of damage, and then all of a sudden, you know, Abel, Cream, Aki, they all make it very, very chaotic. WE just don't have the tools to deal with a multi-pronged-esque fight like that. And now OMG with the Baron, just going to tear apart the remaining structures on the map. Easy for them to do it, and
yeah.
there's not really a lot of wave clear available to WE.
This is a comp that will just push in your base so fast. They destroy turrets so quickly, and they have Baron for another minute and 35. We've seen OMG do this before. One fell swoop. We've seen WE do it. One fell swoop. But OMG, they are barreling down the base of WE right now. You got Hung and Shanks on the backline, but Hope is a little bit caught here. Trying to get out is able, but he gets locked down. They finally find him. He goes down. The shutdown has been achieved, but Shanji is doing what top laners do when they get ADC meat put in front of them on the table. OMG will be good tonight, and it's off the corpses of WE. They will hand them their first loss. They will hand them their second loss, and they will hand them their first series loss as OMG improve slowly but surely to this 5-2 record.
It was slow and a little bit calculated from OMG, but in the end, it's a death roll that WE cannot escape, and Hope feels the jaws of Shanji on his Nexus as they close out. And like you say, OMG finding some more of that stability we were hoping they would after those first couple of opening weeks, and WE finally bleed here in a series loss.
And what a way to do it. Game number one, they got their composition online for WE. They were able to bring back a lot of the advantages that OMG were looking for early on, but OMG across all three games was consistently finding early advantages. And it didn't work out game one, but it definitely worked out in game 2 and 3. And it feels so good to see this OMG roster come to life and find a actually pretty big win streak at this point in 4 in a row.
Yeah, and you know, you want to keep that streak going. We said they've already played a very strong handful of opponents towards the top end of the table, right? Expected top end of the table finishers here in the LPL. So, you know, ensuring that you're taking down WE, who, you know, we don't know where WE's, you know, expected ceiling is right now. Finding 4 wins is definitely something maybe many of us weren't necessarily expecting to find out of Team WE, especially not in the fashion that they did it in. But again, for OMG, trying to just reach those same heights that they were able to in spring, I think has to be the goal. And taking down WE here makes a lot of sense, and finding more of that consistency that perhaps they were lacking whilst already having played some of the strong teams is going to be crucial, because that's